Hi everyone. Today is an exciting day because it's composting day. Today's video is on the basics of composting. We did our part 1 video which guides you through how to get going on composting, meaning how to get your piles or your bins set up and the different bins that I've used here. And also why I love composting so much. And so I'm just going to give you a couple of quick reasons, but if you're interested in learning more about those things, please check out part 1 of our composting series. So number 1, composting cuts down on my household waste. So kitchen scraps, newspapers, boxes and such, which is really wonderful for us. But number 2, it's such a great way to add wonderful nutrients to your garden. So look at this stuff here. So what I mean by that is that it improves your fertility and your soil quality or texture. So this compost here, I've just emptied the bin behind me, which was the rotating barrel compost. So I thought it would be fun today to show you what I've emptied from my barrel composting bin here. So I'm going to use this in my vegetable garden, my flower gardens, my containers, and my raised beds. So this is really wonderful. But I do want to tell you just some basics of composting because it is so easy and it just has so many benefits for you and of course your gardens. So compost bins basically need 3 things. And one is it's going to need air. So air circulation. This bin here has some really nice holes in it for the air circulation. If you have just a pile in your yard, then of course that's going to get, plenty of air. It's going to get aerated. But another way to aerate it is by turning it. So I'm going to just open up this bin here and I'm going to show you what's in it. And this is how you would actually turn this pile. So now you're really getting to know me because you're seeing what's in my compost bins here. So what we have to do with this bin here is get a pitchfork in here and turn it. Or the other thing that I do is I just layer my materials. This rotator bin here is wonderful because to turn it, you're just spinning it. So air, number 1. Number 2 is water. So you're going to need to give your compost some water, and what you want is you don't want it soggy, but you kind of want it like a wrung out dish rag or wrung out sponge. And then number 3 are your materials, and this is really the topic that we're going to talk about today because I get a lot of questions about what can I put into my compost bins and what can't I put into my compost bins. So for your materials, it's really basically 2 parts. You're going to need your brown material and your green material. So your brown material to your green material ratio should be about 3:1. And I'm going to walk you through what I use for my brown materials and my green materials. So your brown material is your carbon-rich material, and that can be any combination of cardboard, newspaper, ashes, untreated sawdust or wood chips, or your dried leaves in the fall. Okay, so now you want your green material. So this is my kitchen waste, and I'm also going to give you a list of the green materials. But basically what I have in here, and this is a compostable bag here, which I love to use because I can throw the whole thing in. I have my vegetable scraps. I have a little bit of fruit scraps in here. I tend to avoid my citrus fruits. I have my coffee grounds. You could also use tea grounds. Funny little aside from this, I used to think very early on that because it was brown, it's brown material, but the coffee grounds are actually your green material. And then of course I have my weeds from the garden or some grass clippings that I will also add in. So I also think it's important to talk about the whatnots. what you should not put into your compost pile, because that is also very important. So I'm going to throw up a list of that as well. So your don'ts are any meat, bones, grease, fats, oil, pet waste, cheese or any of your dairy products, your whole eggs, any glossy magazines or newspaper inserts that are glossy, treated grass clippings or weeds, or any treated sawdust. Those are all don'ts. All right, so now we're going to get down to it. Like I said, I've emptied this barrel composter into my wagon. I can't wait to use this great stuff here. But I'm just going to move this out of the way because I'm going to show you how I put stuff into my compost bin. We live on a hill here, so everything, you got to make sure it's pretty secure. Okay, so remember I said your ratio here should be 3 parts of your brown material, so 2 to 3 parts, to 1 part green material. So I'm going to start here with my kitchen scraps, and you can also kind of see some of my kitchen scraps. I've got some grapes in here, and then I've got some celery stalks here. But what I'm going to do is, this is my hot prod. I'm also going to put up my list of things that I really love in the description. So I'm just going to put these right in. Now, I always like to give you little hot tips when I can. So a hot tip to getting this going quicker is to add a little bit of your garden soil, or I have left a little bit of compost in the bottom to get this started. And so it really helps get things going. It has a lot of the good stuff in it. So that'll help it move along a little bit quicker. So that was my kitchen scraps. And then next I'm going to do my newspaper, my cardboard here. And when I have time, I do like to put this through my shredder. But I'm just going to tear it up a little bit. Some newspaper. And then we've got some cardboard here. So we've removed any of the glossy stickers or tape from our boxes. Okay, so now I'm going to add my water. If you have a water source close to your compost, as I mentioned in part 1, that's really wonderful. This is a little far and I'm feeling lazy today, so I didn't drag the hose out. But I just have my bucket of water and I'm going to give it a good soaking to get it going. And I'm going to close it up and I'm going to give it a spin. So this composter here, I'm going to add to, I would say for at least the next 6 to 8 weeks. And then I'm going to keep spinning it. It will make compost relatively quick. Sometimes I'll see some nice compost in 6 months. And then I'm going to switch back to my bin composter, which holds a lot more material. So my other hot tip that I want to mention, because I love to give you tips and tricks, is throw some worms in there. Worms will really help get your compost going quicker. So when I'm working in the garden, if I see a couple worms, I throw them into my compost. And I was so excited the other day when we turned the bin composter, there was some worm action in there. And that's the kind of stuff that I get excited about. So that's it for today's video. I have a lot of gardening to do and I can't wait to share it with you. I appreciate all of you joining me. I have a lot of fun doing this. If you like this video, please tap like and hit subscribe and come on and grow with us.